And so when people ask me, what advice do you have for a young person, male or female? I'd say you better choose your friends carefully, very, very carefully. Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show, broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona. And we have a very important show today. Very dear, one of the best friends of all is Ken McElroy. But the question Ken and I are asked all the time, especially from younger guys wanting to come up, they say, what advice do you have for young people, male or female? What advice do you have? I mean, how do we advance through life? And the answer is always the same. It says, you've got to choose your friends carefully. You know, if your friends are losers, the odds are you're a loser. So, they say that, somebody said, I don't know who said it, look at your 5 friends. Are they rich or poor? Are they winners or are they losers? Like when I was in high school, I knew my friends were great guys. You know, we're all surfers. But when I graduated, they were entrepreneurs. Like, Kenny and I are entrepreneurs. But my classmates were entrepreneurs in what they call tropical agriculture. They were growing marijuana and selling it, and they're rich as hell. So they're rich guys, but they're outlaws. They're criminals. And I just stopped hanging around with them. And they did drugs all the time. I don't do drugs. So I drink a lot of beer and vodka, but I stay away from anything criminal. So we're going to talk today about is how important your friends are, but more important, who and what your friends are is what do they do in their spare time. So Kenny, thank you for the years and years and years and years of friendship. Almost 30 years now.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a heck of a ride, honestly, starting with that little purple book and going all over the world with you guys. And what a blessing it's been for me.
Yeah. And I can honestly say Kenny has made me a multi-millionaire because when I was doing real estate deals, I was doing I think my biggest deal was 18 units, 18. But there's a limitation to what that's what one man can do. 18 units was my limit. So Kenny, how many apartments have you got under your belt?
We've got about 10,000 right now, and we've done about 3 billion in transactions over. I'm in my 24th year of business, so we've been doing this a while. And you always start small. There's nothing wrong with that. I started with a 2-bedroom, 2-bath myself, using my own money, and then it's the same process. You just get bigger and bigger properties is all.
Yeah. And so when people ask me, what advice do you have for a young person, male or female? I'd say you better choose your friends carefully, very, very carefully. So Kenny and I just last week he flew in his jet, we're laughing about that. What's the goal of every entrepreneur? Well, your own jet, of course, but it's used in business. It's a business expense and all that. And once you have your own jet, it's hard to fly commercial. But anyway, so Kenny and I climb on his jet with 2 other guys, but this is the whole juxtaposition of this show. Kenny, what did the 4 of us do immediately when we got on your jet?
Yeah, well, it's always the same, by the way. It's what are you reading? What are you listening to? And what are you studying? Honestly, almost every single time in my life when I'm with you, Robert, even over a phone call, that's always the topic. Some people may or may not know, every single week we send out a video. There's a big, powerful group we've got. We do a Zoom, and we study a new video every single week. And so we're constantly studying. And so when we got on the jet, everybody pulled these books out of there. I was actually reading the Communist Manifesto. Russ was reading something on Bitcoin. I think it was called the Bitcoin Standard. Josh was reading the YouTube solution or YouTube formula. And Robert, you had, 3 or 4 books. And we all just pulled them out and we just started talking.
Yeah. And the book I was telling was the book called When Money Destroys Nations. And it's what happens when a country starts printing money like Zimbabwe did, which went down. And now America is doing the same thing right now. We're going down because we print money. So that's our study. And that's the whole kind of the theme of today's Rich Dad Radio Show is if you want new friends, go to different places, but choose where they hang out. So Kenny and I were flying to Orlando, and the first event we flew to was a very high-powered, expensive event, $35K per year, $35,000. Now that's my favorite event because it's the most intensive. You get what you pay for. So we spent 3 days in the collective, and then we spent 3 more days at George Gammon's Rebel Capitalist. And they have how many speakers did George Gammon have at Rebel Capitalist?
I would guess 15 to 20 probably over, a couple days. And just, again, guys, like obviously we're real estate guys, we're investors, but this is something that I probably would not normally go to. Now, I love George, so what I mean by that is it's economists. It's really smart people that I have a tough time understanding.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm sitting in the room trying to understand it. And that is actually the point. A lot of people, you got to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. And that's, when I go to a room like that, and I'm trying to listen to these folks, and they're incredibly brilliant people. I'm really trying to figure out, like, where's the whole thing headed?
Yeah. This whole economy and all this. We're in serious trouble. Serious trouble. Like I said, the book I was discussing on Ken's Jet was When Money Destroys Nations. And it's about what I was in Zimbabwe when Zimbabwe crashed. And a lot of people thought I have a Zimbabwe dollar. So I was there when it went down, because I've seen a lot of things, been to Vietnam twice and all this. For some reason, I see things. I'm at the wrong place at the right time, I guess. But the point of this show here is when you get together with your friends, male, female, and all that, what do you do? Do you just play golf? You sit at the bar and drink, eat chicken wings? Or do you play pickleball, the manly sport of pickleball and golf and all this? And Kenny and I have a lot of fun also, but we spend much of our spare time studying. Would you say that's true, Kenny?
Without a doubt. And that's why, people, obviously would probably wonder, why would I have the Communist Manifesto in my backpack? Well, because I want to understand it from their point of view. That is there you are. And one of the things in that book, it says that one of the initiatives is to take over the education system. That's what it says. Period. Yeah. It's undisputable. It's in the book. It was written a long time ago. And I find that interesting because school was very different when I was in school and when you were in school, very different. And Mike, as a lot of people know, I have 2 boys that just got out of school, and it is extremely different. I'm talking about from my own personal experience. So you got to be careful who your teachers are. Yeah. And that was kind of my big lesson there, because the school system has changed a lot.
Right. So then again, how do you get ahead? Well, you change your friends, but then what do your friends do in your spare time? I mean, Ken and I play golf. We do the regular things. We go hunting. We do the normal things guys do. But we spend an inordinate amount of time and money studying. Another reason I recommend both the collective and then Kenny, your event is the Limitless coming up. When is the Limitless?
Yeah, so the limitlessexpo.com is the 29th, 30th, and 31st of August in Dallas, Texas. And we have 50 speakers, 3 stages. And I just really believe we're in an incredibly confusing time right now. There's so many things going on. And I'm confused about the Fed. I'm confused about the education system. I'm confused about so many things. And so the purpose of this conference is to try to get people all in one room. No selling, by the way. Just teach from the stage about all kinds of things. We have most of our investors at this point are invested in lots of things. Now, obviously, I'm pretty heavy in real estate, but I do want to understand about what's going on with office buildings and self-storage and, all these other things. And in addition to entrepreneurship and also AI and marketing, how that's affecting businesses. So we bring all these people in, Robert. As you know, we've sold out the last 2 years, and it's a powerful group,
Right. And then my whole shtick, people think I'm real estate. Kenny's my real estate guy. My job is to make the money and give money to Kenny. Like I said, because my brain capacity ended at 18 units. You can't go very far after that. And tax reasons, you got to keep, the richer you get, you need more units. So that's kind of things we discuss: taxes, investing, partnerships, husbands, wives. But the biggest thing here is when people say, well, how do I meet new people? Well, you come to the Limitless or George's, which is called Rebel Capitalist. And the one I like the best is the collective because it's smaller, it's more intense, and the people, I would say, are more successful. And that's who we spend our time with. That's how we get ahead.
Yeah, the collective is basically 40 people that are all high achievers, and they're all either business owners or big investors, and you just want to be in that room. And obviously you and I go. George is there, Jason's there, Robert and Russ are there. There's incredible members there, and we basically just talk about things that are affecting us, and because we're all trying to get better, and you can't, if you're just trying to figure everything else on your own by yourself. You're limiting your resources, because when we get into the room, my perspective has always changed when, it's called the Collective Inner Circle, or it's collectiveic.com. That's where it is. And there's, you can look at all the information. The very next one is right before Limitless. Actually, what we do, Robert, is these are basically masterminds before these events. And so we had one before Rebel Capitalist Live, and now we'll have one before Limitless. And so what'll happen is we'll all fly in, and then we'll have speakers that are going to be talking at Limitless. So guys like Eric Sue, who just got done doing a huge podcast with Gary Vee, and these are guys that really understand AI and marketing. So we're going to have these guys come speak to our group intimately, one-on-one, instead of to 2,000 people, which is where Limitless is. So these are it's access to these people, having lunch, breakfast, dinner with these people, having some cocktails with them, and really asking them one-on-one questions. That's I think that's what's missing right now, is that call it a community of people and the connection.
Right. And I would definitely say I'm a rich man because I have rich friends. You can say, oh, you're such a jerk. You choose your friends because they're rich. That's not the thing. It's because we're interested in learning, we're interested in studying, we're interested in money, and we're very concerned about where this economy is. That's why the book I was studying that was on the jet with Kenny was When Money Destroys Nations. It was about the downfall of Zimbabwe. And you read that book, you'll see that America is doing exactly the same things Zimbabwe did. It's fascinating subjects. And then when we were at Gammon's event, we had Robert Barnes, who's the attorney. He had some interesting things to say because Trump got indicted or convicted, or whatever you call it, found guilty during that event. And Robert Barnes is an attorney who is trying to end the Fed, the Federal Reserve. And this is another book we study. It's called this is how much we study. It's a creature from Jekyll Island about the Federal Reserve Bank. It's basically a Marxist organization because it's a central bank. So Robert Barnes was up there, as well as, what was Yang's name?
Joseph Yang, yeah, Joseph. I mean, he worked for the Fed. He was under the hood. So he was talking about what he thought the Fed was going to do.
Yeah. So we get real teachers, not these professors. That's a very big difference. They come from their experience. If they're in real life, they got battle scars. They've been through it. Most are entrepreneurs. Most are extremely successful. Most have won and failed and won again and all this. Most have had divorces and the real trials and tribulations of life. They're not some college professor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we did one of our collective events at Jekyll Island with Edward Griffith, the guy who wrote that book.
The author of this book.
Yeah, like this is the kind of stuff we're doing. We all want to hear from him. Like, why did you write this book and tell us about it? And we're trying to unpack it. And we're just trying to learn based on history.
Yeah. So we come back, we'll be talking more about Kenny, but again, we're answering this Rich Dad radio show, we're answering the question, how do I get ahead in life? Well, one is your education, but number two is your friends. And then number three is, what do you do with your friends? You play golf, pickleball, drink, eat chicken wings. I mean, it makes it, I like all of it, especially the chicken wings. But anyway, when we come back, we'll be talking more about Kenny's upcoming event, Limitless, this August in Dallas. And we're talking more about the collective, which is the High-Octane for the truly psychotic people. We'll be right back.
Have you heard about the expanding influence of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and its potential to severely impact the US dollar by possibly creating a new world currency? Even JP Morgan said, and I'm paraphrasing, the impact of BRICS would most likely be felt here in the US, where moving away from the dollar would cause our financial assets like our IRAs and 401ks to lose value. We agree with JP Morgan and many others. Now's the time to position yourself for stability, security, and wealth protection. So take it from Robert and me, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting, we believe that gold should be a part of everyone's portfolio. Seize the opportunity to ensure your financial future with gold, and do it with one of the best in the industry, Allegiance Gold. Allegiance Gold has done things right from the beginning, having earned 5 stars with TrustLink and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Allegiance Gold can help protect your IRA or 401k with physical gold and silver, or you can have it delivered securely to your doorstep. Get up to $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying investment when you visit protectwithrobert.com today. Or you can call 844-3-ROBERT. That's 844-3-ROBERT. Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Kiyosaki. Thank you for being with us today. As CEO and co-founder of the Rich Dad Company, I can assure you, Robert and I are both dedicated to our Rich Dad mission to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. And you are the humanity. We truly want you to succeed. When you succeed, we all succeed, and our mission grows stronger. With that in mind, I'm excited to extend a personal invitation to you to elevate your financial well-being by attending our exclusive free online wealth building event hosted by Robert. You'll learn what to focus on first to start increasing your cash flow immediately. You can reserve your seat right now by going to richdadonline.com. Just go to richdadonline.com. The event is 100% free and will help you achieve your financial goals.
Welcome back, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Good news and bad news about money. Today we're talking about, it's a question Kenny and I are always asked, how do I get ahead? What suggestions do you have for us? Yesterday, I was at a Donald Trump event. They had about 500 people there. And most of them are young men, about 80%, the rest of 20% are young women, probably older than 20. And they say, well, how do I get ahead? How do I get ahead? And I give them the same answer. Who are your friends? What do you study? What are you doing in your spare time? And that's a big part of the answer. So I'm talking today, Kenny McElroy, best friend for like almost 30 years now, and we've made multi-millions together, but we also study together. We have fun. We go to Africa together, we hunt and things like that and fish, but we study most of the time. So we have 2 events coming up. One is Limitless. And Kenny, this is Kenny's event. Would you tell us about Limitless, Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely, Robert. So limitlessexpo.com. It's going to be August 29th, 30th, and 31st in Dallas, Texas at the Gaylord. And, obviously, if they mention Rich Dad, one word, they'll get 15% off. And I will tell you, this event, Robert, is gaining momentum like crazy. So, as you know, we started off just by putting together a bunch of smart people in the room because you and I'm heavy in real estate and I want to be diversified. I want to know about everything. I want to know about gold and silver and oil and gas and crypto and Bitcoin. And I want to know about all that stuff. Now AI. So it's really cool for me because we have 50 speakers this year, all that are experts in those areas. and they all show up, no selling from stage, and basically they teach. And I always ask them the same question. Okay, yeah. But how do I lose money if I invest in oil and gas? Or how do I lose money if I invest here? What are the risks? And because, there's so much sales BS going on all the time. And so I want to know, that, because I'm trying to diversify myself, as is everyone in the room. So that's why I think it sells out every year is, we have 80 exhibitors and sponsors, and, it's just 50 speakers, 3 stages. It's growing. This is our 3rd year. It's been wildly successful just because I think people, to your point, they just want to know the truth. They want to know, like, what should I be doing next? And we're going to have economists there. Jeff Snyder is coming. Oh my gosh. He is one of the smartest guys. And he was at George Gammon's event at Rebel Capitalist Live. And he's the guy everyone listens to. And he's got a great YouTube called Eurodollar University. You should definitely watch because when the first time you see him, you will not understand. So my suggestion is that you watch a little bit of his stuff and then have some questions prepared for him when he's live, and you'll be able to meet him. So as you know, Robert, this is one of our favorite events. You and I go down there together, and we just study. And of course, selfishly, we're in the back room with all these guys that are smart, and women too. There's some incredibly smart women. And I'm just ask as many questions as I can. So I'm excited for this event every year.
Yeah. And how much does it cost, Kenny? And how many days?
So it starts on Thursday afternoon at about noon, and then the first it kicks off around 4:00, and then it's all day Friday, all day Saturday, and so there's 2 levels. So depending on when you buy your tickets, if the general admissions is just right around $1,000, and the VIP can be $3,000 or $4,000 depending on when you get it. Right. So that's why what we decided to do is if people sign up for Rich Dad, they get 15% off of the old price, so they can go back. The price goes up every month. Goes up 1st of June, goes up the 1st of July. So if people get tickets, then we'll honor the May rate.
Yeah. And the High-Octane event goes before Limitless. It's called the Collective. And that's $35,000. And if you don't have the money, don't worry. I didn't have the money either at one time, neither did Kenny. But that's why we go to these events, because you keep increasing your knowledge and your money goes up. So the Collective is only about 30 or 40 guys. Very few women in this one.
Yeah. We'll take anybody that adds value to the membership, and I'll tell you, we had Rebel Capitalist. We had 5 or 6 applications. Two are women. One was from Houston and one was from L.A. But the members are incredible. There are people out there that are just slaying it. And they're just killing it, and they're just progressive, and they got great momentum. But they don't know who to talk to. Yeah. They can't talk to their family. They certainly, most of the time. I don't know about you guys, but with me, I blew right past my high school friends and my college friends. Like, who do you talk to about growth and mergers and raising money and buying companies and expansion and all that stuff? It's really hard. So that's what this mastermind is. That's what the Collective Inner Circle is. It's collectiveic.com. And, it's a powerful group of people that are
35,000 people. That's a lot of money, but what you get is worth the money. Because Kenny and I were on 2 years ago, we were on Wall Street ringing the bell, taking a company public on the New York Stock Exchange. How many people have taken a company public on the New York Stock Exchange? Most of Kenny, what really bugs the crap out of me is most of these so-called economists, all they talk about is stocks. If that this bond and that bond and this bond, I just check out. None of them have taken a company public because they're not entrepreneurs. There's another level of achievement in the entrepreneurs world. One is owning your jet. Another one is taking companies public. So this summer, I'm taking another company public, this time on NASDAQ. And most people don't know I do that stuff. But that's, if you've watched the cash flow board game, there are all these fast track deals here. I'm not here in the rat race. I'm way out there. And so people go, can I talk to you? Can I talk to you? So you can talk to me at the collective. Otherwise, I don't have time to talk to you. I'm too busy. So that, I mean, that's kind of the facts of life. And for those of you serious, it's the collective, because you go to a whole nother level of entrepreneurship. Right, Kenny?
Yeah, well, I'll just give you an example. In that room, there was a woman that had a very, very large title company and mortgage company in California. And she gave me a business plan and said, I want to start a digital bank. Now, I've invested in banks. I've been involved in some startups. And I said to her, well, you better join, because, like, these are people that are doing stuff. And so she joined specifically because the group is going to be able to help her, obviously, achieve her goal. And that's the thing. Like, it feels sometimes like you're out in this boat, this small boat in this huge ocean sometimes, and you don't see anybody in sight. And so the collective actually is like everybody's in the harbor, and everybody's trying to help each other. And it's really, really incredible group.
Yeah. And there's a lot of fakes out there. I mean, YouTube is filled with them. I won't mention this guy's name, but he's supposed to be a financial expert. He says, I'm going to tell you the secrets of, his secret was to buy ETFs and mutual funds. I'm going, why did he recommend that? Because his son sells ETFs and mutual funds. And another guy was grousing away. He's big name on YouTube. And he says, well, people can't figure out how to get passive income. So he put them in bonds. And bonds are the most dangerous things at this point in history. They're the most dangerous thing. But if you don't know what the people are talking about, you get sucked in. So that's what Kenny says. It's a big ocean out there. A lot of people selling things, but not too many people doing the real thing. So when you come to the collective, again, which is 3 days long, it's ahead of Limitless, you get to meet some people who are doing some, I talk to people, how many stocks do you? And I said, I don't know, how many companies have you taken public? I've now taken 3 public. Average guy is never going to do that. They're going to buy mutual funds. You know what I mean? Isn't that true, Kenny? I mean, that's the level different. Not to be arrogant about it.
Well, I think people can understand that Wall Street is after Main Street. I think everybody just needs to understand that. Like, that's when you get your paycheck and it gets wired into your bank account, that's essentially Main Street going to Wall Street. Those banks are Wall Street. Make no mistake about it. The bank now has an expense to you in the form of an interest payment on your money. That's not their money, it's your money. But then they use that money essentially to invest, to give loans and things like that. Pension funds are set up this way. Insurance is set up this way. The whole stock market is set up this way. It's essentially a way for people to easily invest. And the thing is they don't learn anything, Robert. They open their quarterly statement. They don't know what the fees are. These are really, really interesting questions people should be asking. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do other things. What I'm saying is if you don't know why your money's growing, then that's your fault.
Yeah. And then, I mean, last night I was at a Trump event. These guys, can I spend time with you? I'm going, you got to be kidding me. I mean, they're like 24, 25 years old. I'm in the MBA program. I said, man, you're way down the road that way. You got a lot of work. No, but just give me a couple of hours. I'm going, my God. So if you want a couple of hours, that's the collective with real people know what they're doing. Or Limitless, come there, you meet a lot of different people. This, as my rich dad often said to me, there's 1 million ways to financial heaven and 1 billion ways to financial hell. So you come to Limitless, You sit there and you'll find out there's so many different ways you can get rich. Got to find the way that works best for you. And this Bitcoin thing, I can give my little bit in that thing. They got ETS for that, plus for Bitcoin, and I think Ethereum and all that. And that the price is going to go up, but you should have been in Bitcoin and Ethereum a long time ago. Now the price is going up, because it's exactly as Kenny says. Wall Street sells stuff to the Main Street. That's all they do. Kenny and I are not Main Street. You want to be Main Street? We're not your boys.
Yeah, yeah. And so the cool part about the collective and a lot of people at Limitless is once you understand that you're in the system, you could be in the system or out of the system. And I use Wall Street. So when we go build properties, or, we're borrowing from insurance companies, we're borrowing from pension firms, we're borrowing from banks, and that's all OPM or other people's money. That's what it is. All the people sitting up in New York and all of Wall Street is basically just a bunch of really smart people managing Main Street. That's all it is.
Just selling passive investors.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's my greatest advice to young people, young or old. If you want to get ahead, ask yourself this question right now. Who are the 5 people you spend time together with the most? And what do you do? What are you doing with your 5 people you spend the most time with? And it's pretty telling their future from there. It's like being a fortune teller, I have another friend, all he hangs out with are financial planners. I said, then you're like one of those guys. Another guy just hangs out with real estate agents. I'm going, just like them. They don't hang out with the investor. So anyway, Kenny, final words for Limitless and Collective.
Well, I just think people should go because it will blow your mind. And this is not a beginner event. I want to be clear. This is not a beginner event. But if you're confused and you're trying to figure out what to do with your money, you're trying to figure out where this economy is heading, and you're trying to figure out how to grow it and what the Fed's going to do, and what the tea leaves are saying, you're going to hear from experts at this event that are going to help you hopefully clear up. And you just go to limitlessexpo.com, type in Rich Dad, one word, and you get 15% off the ticket.
And I think the most valuable thing you gain at Kenny's event, Limitless and or Collective, is friends. You get to meet new friends. And I tell you what, you are your 5 friends. There are some people in serious trouble because their friends are not the best people. But anyway, I want to thank you, Kenny, for all the years of friendship. Love, very, very seldom you meet somebody who likes to study as much as this stuff here. But that's how it's fun. It's fun.
I always call it a diet. People always think of food as a diet. I also include what I read, what I listen to, and what I watch.
Yeah.
That's my diet. Yeah. I think the whole thing is a diet.
Yeah.
And so what you put in comes out, period.
And if you guys are watching stuff on CNBC, bubble vision, you got to be kidding me. Oh, I heard it on CNBC. I said, it's probably been processed, filtered, and crapped out a long time ago. You're so far away from the food chain. You're getting garbage. But anyway, that's what we have, Limitless and Collective. And if you want new friends and a whole new way of looking at life, come to both events. Thank you. Thank you all for listening to the Rich Dad Radio Show. Kenny, final word.
Well, I think, I don't know about you guys, but when I got out of college, I did not want to read another book. I went through this period of time where I was like, I'm done. But those are textbooks. You have now the freedom to read whatever you want.
Yeah.
So, and I'm telling you, you gotta change that habit and go to these things, go to things like Limitless, join things like the Collective, because you'll meet people that are all on the same track and they're very, very similar minded.
Yeah. Make some new friends and a new future. Anyway, thank you all for listening to the Rich Dad Radio Show, and have a good life. Thank you.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.